everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us once again. It's such a joy to have a community like this building up. It's our joy to share, and it's so great to have you guys to share with. So welcome to tonight.
Yes, absolutely. Wait for a few people to join us.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to be looking at the 12 keys to awakening. And the title of tonight is Freedom and Awakening.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking at freedom. What has freedom got to do with awakening? So we'll just wait for everyone to log on, and then we'll move into a centering meditation. And then Michelle is going to just share a few brief insights from astrology at the moment, where we are with the planets. And then we're going to go through the 12 keys. And stay till the end, because we're going to do quite a powerful meditation at the end. This weekend is apparently quite a pivotal point for mankind in the journey that we're going through at the moment, the journey of light and dark and the contrast between the two that are taking place on the earth at the moment. And so tonight we're going to be connecting with the global network of light workers, if you want to put it that way. And it's very important that you connect your heart to the overall grid of light at this time. So stay till the end, and we'll do a meditation to connect us to that grid. Okay.
Lovely to see some names coming up. Vash, Claire. Can't see all of them, but all of you, thank you. Christine, nice to have you here. I'm going to start the centering meditation, and then if people join, that's just fine.
Just check if you can hear us clearly and see us clearly. Just press the wow button, just so that we know that you're connected.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, if my voice is loud enough, because it tends to be a little bit soft, so I have to project it a bit.
Yeah.
And also, please feel free to send comments. We love comments because we can respond afterwards.
Yeah.
And if something resonates, just send us a like, so we can kind of see where you're all at.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love hearts as well.
Yeah, there we get some hearts.
That's lovely.
Okay.
So wows and hearts are lovely. And also just type in where you're from. We want to know, who we're speaking to, where in the world you are, what city you're in or town. Just let us know where you are. I've opened it up, so I think everyone should be able to comment now. I know previous sessions I only had the friends who could comment, but I think I've opened it up, if I've done it correctly, that everyone can comment, and we look forward to reading through your comments afterwards and responding. So thank you all for being here.
Awesome. Hope you all had a good Sunday. All right, so we're just going to start off the evening as we always do, with just a centering connection. So I invite you to, if you're joining the group, just go along with my voice. I invite you to close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in and a relaxing breath out. And on the next deep belly breath in, I want you to give a really big sigh out. And I think we can do that again. I think there's so much stress around. Let's do that for the third time. Breathing in. And a really big sigh out. And drop your shoulders. Drop your shoulders. Wiggle them around if you like. Get yourself comfy. And just become aware of what you can hear in this moment. So you'll be hearing the sound of my voice, but I'm going to keep quiet for a second or two. Just hear what you can hear in the room. Just focus all your attention on what you can hear. See if you can send your hearing out even further. And then bring your awareness to what you can smell. Nice deep breath in. And just smell the smells. So all you're doing is just being the witness. Connect with what you can taste. what you can see, either with your eyes closed or you can open your eyes a little. See what you can see behind your eyes if your eyes are closed. Just focus all your attention on your eyes. And now I'd like you to do a little scan and just feel how you're feeling right now. Just connect with any areas of tightness or restriction or discomfort or whatever's going on. And if you isolate some, just send your breath straight into that area. We're very powerful. Wherever we send our attention to, responds. So just send your attention and your breath to wherever you feel that you might need to relax. If you've been feeling a little stressed, see if you can open up your heart a little more, drop your shoulders, relax your body. If you need to adjust your body, just relax and adjust it a little bit. So just connecting with where you're at right now. And then I'd like you to imagine a beautiful light coming in through the top of your head. Make it a beautiful pink light. Pink sparkles. Let that light come pouring into the top of your head and let it spiral in gently, clearing away any of the cobwebs in your mind, relaxing your face, relaxing as you go down. Relax your eyes, relax your mouth, the little muscles around your nose, your ears. Bring that light all the way down through your neck and relax your neck as it's doing that, and into your shoulders, down into your arms, hands. And when you get to your hands, just feel the energy in your hands. Very often when you put your focus on a particular area, like your hands, you might feel a little bit of a tingling. That's the life energy that animates your body. Just acknowledging that you can feel it. Then bring that beautiful pink light all the way down through into your torso, down through your chest, down into your tummy, into all your organs. Let that light clear out whatever it needs to clear out inside you. Let it go down all the way from the shoulder blades, all the way down each vertebra. Imagine it just rinsing out whatever it needs to rinse out. Let that light go all the way down to the base of your spine, into your pelvis, down into your legs, upper legs, knees, lower legs. Just feel your legs become relaxed. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just be here now. Send that light into your feet and out through the bottoms of your feet. Imagine that light now separating into beautiful roots with one big taproot down the middle. And that taproot is reaching deep into the core of Mother Earth. The other roots are surrounding it, supporting us, holding us, connecting us all. You could even imagine that we're a whole bunch of trees standing in a circle, all connected, because we really are. And then bringing that light up through the bottoms of your feet. You can change the color. See what color you need to ground you, to contain you, to support you. Intuitively, whatever color comes to you, can't get it wrong. Bring that color now up through your feet, through your legs, up, up, up into your pelvis, up the torso, up from the arms, from the hands to the arms to the shoulders, up through your neck, up into your face, and then out the top of your head like a beautiful fountain. So you're standing in the middle, a beautiful tree, arms open to the light that's coming in through the top of your head and the nourishment that's coming in from your feet. It's connecting us all. We just give thanks for the light, the love, and the protection surrounding us tonight. And we set the intention for whatever to be needs to be released, healed, and integrated for us as well as the planet tonight. And now just take a gentle scan again across your body, down through your body, and just see how you're feeling now. You might feel a little different to when you first started. So just notice that. And then take a beautiful deep breath in and out. And gently, when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Do you enjoy that? Did you? Won't you just give us a comment of how you feel right now? What is the predominant feeling in your body right now? You can comment, or you can send us one of those little emojis or heart or whatever as to how you feel in this moment.
And if it changed, which is also quite a nice little acknowledgement. If you felt one way at the beginning and then at the end felt a little bit different, just note that.
Yeah.
For yourself.
One of the keys that we teach is if you want to be present, just become aware of how your body feels, because your body is always present, and your body really reflects what's going on in your mind. So by doing this exercise right now of just becoming aware of how your body feels, that's an exercise in withdrawing your mind from the matrix, from the story, and coming into the present moment. So it's a good exercise to do continually throughout the day. It's a good exercise to do.
Particularly when you're stressed or you have some stressful thoughts, is just to bring your attention back to your body and breathe. And you'll find that the stress will vanish.
Yeah. Just become more friendly with your body. When we get stressed, what do we do to our body? We're strangling the body. And I think we need to love our body more. So by becoming aware of the tension in your body, just the awareness of the tension is more than enough to release that tension in that moment. Because what creates the tension is not the actual body, but it's your thoughts. And when you bring your awareness into your body, just the awareness is enough to relieve you from the tension being created in your head, and that allows the body to breathe, to become more healthy, to become more vibrant, improves your immune system. So tonight we're going to be looking at the 12 keys of awakening, and it's the freedom in awakening. And let's have a look at this word freedom. What does freedom mean to you? So at the beginning of a lot of the retreats and workshops that we do, I always ask people, what do you really want? What do you really, really, really want? There's 3 reallys there. And the first really is, what the mind wants. It always wants stuff to be a certain way so that it can feel better about itself. And the second really is what you've been programmed to believe that you ought to have or ought to be from the society that you've been brought up in, from your parents, from your programming, from your education. That's the second really. I need to go and help the poor. I need to go and invent something. I need to go and invent, a cure for the virus or something. I need to go and do something. That's generally the second really. But those 2 are not really the ones that I'm interested in. It's the third really. And that really is, what does your heart really want? What does your heart really want? And people come up with words, and obviously what the heart wants is more a feeling than a word or a label. It's not a thing that the heart wants. Generally, it's a feeling. It wants to feel something. And one of the words that comes up quite often in the workshops is the feeling of freedom. People yearn to be free and to feel free. So what is freedom? And what are we free from? And it's quite surprising to find that the freedom we seek is actually the freedom from our own mind. It's the freedom from this perpetual judgmental thought process that we have about ourselves. You know, we have this ego, and this ego is judgmental. I mean, that's what the ego does. It judges. I mean, it's great. But it judges you more than anything else. If you want to know how you're judging yourself, look at what you're judging out there, because the world out there is a mirror of what you have inside yourself, and the judgments you have for the world out there are judgments you have against yourself. And freedom comes from non-judgment, having no judgment about yourself and others. That's the first step in freedom. It's the release of the need to continually judge, to have a commentary going about what you said, what you did, what your mother did, what your father did, and what you're going to do next. That judgmental mind can become your servant instead of your master. So we have freedom and awakening, but what is awakening? What is awakening? And quite often people say, well, obviously it's when my life becomes smooth and easy flowing, when all circumstances just synchronistically flow in my direction, and, I don't have any more problems. That's obviously awakening. We're looking to awakening to give us ease, to give us this sense of achievement in the world. And I hate to tell you, but there is nothing for your ego in awakening. Absolutely nothing. And there's a great disappointment when you find that awakening is not an event for the mind. It's not an event for the ego to grasp onto. Awakening is just the realization of what is already here. That, in a nutshell, is what awakening is. It's the full alignment with the isness of this moment. But that isness does give you something. It gives you peace. It gives you inner contentment. And it allows the barriers that have separated you from the world to come crumbling down, to dissolve. So the barriers that have separated you from love dissolve. So what arises out of awakening is love, it's freedom, it's peace, it's contentment. But these are not things to be strived for. Don't look for them in the future. They are only available to you ever in the present moment. So that in a nutshell is what awakening about. And we've called our website journeysofAwakening.com, because there are a few individuals who have suffered immensely to the point of complete surrender, complete giving up.
Yeah.
And in that moment, they give up their mind, they give up their ego, they give up future, they give up the past. And in that moment, they're awake. But for most of us, we want to savor this process. It's like, eating a cake. You don't want to gobble the whole cake down in one moment. So what we do is we take little bites of awakening. We awaken a little bit, and then we go back to sleep a little bit. And then we awaken a little bit, and we go back to sleep again. And when we're asleep, we suffer, and we experience pain. And then that pain and the suffering gets too much for us, so we decide, okay, I'm going to surrender a little bit, and then we awaken a little bit. And then we feel so good that we start thinking about the future again, and we start suffering again, and we slip back into it again. So for most of us, this journey of awakening is a gradual process of unfoldment, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you just think about eating this wonderful, beautiful cake, one little bite at a time, you're savoring the process of awakening. Because if you hadn't gone to sleep in the first place, you wouldn't have this wonderful experience of awakening. So just enjoy the part of you that's asleep, and to know that that is not the real you. That's not the real you at all. And so it's not to rush this process of awakening. It's not to want something other than what is in this moment. And to enjoy the gradual steps that you make on this journey of awakening. The judgmental mind will say, no, but you need to be over there already. Why aren't you over there? You've been around and around this track so many times, and you keep on landing up in the place where you were. Don't listen to the mind. You are making progress. You're making immense progress. Sometimes, if you think of learning to walk, the process of learning to walk is falling. Continually falling. That's how you learn to walk. And even as today, when you stand up and walk as an adult, you're actually falling all the time. And you're correcting, self-correcting. So that really is the process, the journey of awakening that we take you on. It's a journey. And it's a journey without distance to a place that you never left. It's here, in the present moment.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of us are, with this lockdown, we're actually being put in a position where we've got more time to actually dedicate to this journey. Because this is really the only journey. As we've seen, we're not really in control of the outside world. So the only thing that we can actually really connect with and not control, but really put our awareness and our attention on, is what's going on inside and how we're reacting. So yeah, I think it's kind of a crash course for a lot of us. I did say that I was going to just give you a little tiny update. We're heading for a new moon on Wednesday. Wednesday early, it's 22nd, 23rd. And it's just following the sun moving into Taurus. And it's quite an interesting new moon. So we're going to do another live stream on Wednesday where I'll take you through a new moon meditation. It's a really good one. We're going to be calling it, what did we say? Nourishing the Soil of Change. Because the new moon is very closely aligned with the planet of change. So there's changes afoot, we know that, but how do we actually nurture and nourish ourselves through that change? With self-care, love, acceptance, so it's all that kind of thing. So the sun moves into Taurus. Right now, though, we have the moon in Pisces tonight, the whole of today actually, with Neptune. And Neptune and the moon are very soulful, spiritual, connected energies. So when the two of them that come together, there's a sort of an opening. I kind of see it as an opening to bring light in, to take light out, because we are more connected than we would normally be. It's also quite gentling, it's quite softening, very softening actually, very sensitizing. So you might feel more sensitive, but at the same time that you feel more sensitive, you're probably more intuitive and more able to actually let that energy out as well to others. So it's a compassionate, beautiful, gentle, soft energy today. It's a good day for us to do this. And that leads me to the first step that we've just put together on the journeys of awakening, and it's inspired intention. So John was kind of referring to a little bit there. When we do intention setting, usually it means that we are setting the intention to achieve that there. So we want to get to the top of the mountain. We want to buy a Ferrari. We want to own a house. Or we want a better job or a better lover or whatever it is. So that's usually the intention. But if you dig down deeper beneath that, you'll find that if you ask yourself, okay, if I get the Ferrari, or if I get to the top of the mountain, or I find a better lover, or I manage to buy myself a house, or whatever it is, whatever your intention is, how will I feel when that happens? And that is inspired intention, because that's actually what drives all our intentions, is the way we're going to feel. I want to travel to Bali. Why? How will I feel when I'm in Bali? Free. Oh, okay. That's an inspired intention. How will I feel? I want to go and sit in the mountains. Why? Because I feel peaceful in the mountains. So that's an inspired intention. Then if you can go from your inspired intention and actually be that, then you're not reaching all the time for something outside of you. So John and I are busy putting a course together. Well, we've put it together, and that's the first step of this, which is you kind of have to know where you want to go so that you can go on a journey. It's a little bit tricky to go somewhere when you don't know where you're going, you know. So you need to have an idea of what you're actually wanting out of the journey before you embark on the journey. So that's step number one.
Yeah, it's so interesting that because part of the process of awakening, the realization of awakening is the letting go of the need for more. So what Michelle was saying, we want to go to Bali, we want that. Why? Because that's going to give us more. But what more of what? A more feeling. Well, why can't we create that feeling now? That feeling is already here, contained in this moment. You can access it. So part of the awakening process is letting go of this need for future, for more, for more, for more. And what robs us of the peace and the joy of this moment is a constant leaning, being drawn into the future, which is promising you more. I can't be happy now because I want more. And it's that need, it's that desire, the desire for more that robs us of the peace and the ease and the joy and the love contained within this moment. So an inspired intention will start to release us from that demon called more.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do the second one?
Oh, okay. Let's just see what we have here.
Hi, Evie.
Hello, Evie. So the second key which we've got here is how I normally start the retreats is the who are you? Who are you? Who are you really? And that is such a fundamental key in awakening. Because until you know who you are, you're going to live in the matrix. You're going to live in that false evidence appearing real. I am what I do, I am what I have, and I am what other people think of me. And there's going to be the continual need for dependency on that to find who you are. In other words, I'm not quite good enough in this moment because I haven't achieved X, Y, Z. I'm not quite good enough in this moment because I haven't acquired X, Y, Z. And so that continual need to find yourself outside of yourself is a core separation from the peace, from the joy, from the fulfillment, and from the love. So the first, the second key that we've got here is that, which we wrote down here. What do we write? Self-discovery. Self-discovery. And the self that we are discovering is not the egoic self. I mean, the egoic self has many different identities. You play different roles in the different egoic identities. You might be the role of mother at home and businesswoman outside, or you might be the role of spiritual practitioner here, and when you get home you're the gardener or the dishwasher or whatever it is. So these roles continually change. But what we're talking about here is not the ego. We're not asking your ego who you are. We are delving deeper. We're asking the question, who has an ego? Who has a body? Because part of the process of awakening is that release from that false evidence appearing real. It's the release from fear. And the primary cause of fear is the perception that I am what I have, and I am what I do, and I am what other people think of me. And it's the fear of the loss of that, the loss of credibility in society, the loss of my physical possessions, and the big one, the loss of my body. Who would I be if I lost all of that? Well, I would ask you the question, what would you be if you lost all of that? You'd be who you really are. You'd be that which has the body, which has the achievements, which has the experiences. And when you start to see that, when the blinkers come off your mind, off your eyes, and you start to find the depth of your own being, then you're free. Yeah. You're free of freedom, free of fear. You're free of anxiety. And you start to connect with the real essence of life itself. And in that comes immense joy as you realize your true identity.
Yeah, beautiful. Number 3 is your soul's diary. So that's an important key, is that this is not it. We have a diary. We've written a diary before we even came here. And I can speak on this because I do astrology readings every single day of my life almost. And I've come to realize very clearly that things aren't all that random. In terms of your astrology chart is something that you're born, the minute you take your first breath is your astrology chart. And that comes set with all sorts of characteristics and possibilities and potentials, and it's very, very clear to see, any of you who've had your charts, and there are quite a few of you, that this was there already when you were born. So what does that mean? It means that it was written before you were born. Which then makes you start to realize that there are no victims, because on a level you chose this life. You chose the parents, you chose the situation that you were born in, the country that you were born into, the social standing, the wealth or non-wealth, everything. So the next one is we're going to be talking about the free will part, because we do have some free will in terms of how we really react and how we respond to our lives. But what we're actually given means that it's a soul's journey. So the souls go back over time. And something I read was beautiful the other day was, it's like a river. Your soul's like a river, the soul's journey. And it meanders, and then at certain points it pools. So it stops and it pools, and that's a life. And then it carries on, and then it pools. So I just love that description of it. So your life is a diary, your soul's diary. And that's really what we're referring to. You're not just referring to the person, Michelle. You're referring to something much, much bigger than that.
Yeah,
So,
and that goes back to the previous key
yeah.
of who are you.
Yeah.
We are so caught up in this personality. I am the personality, I am my name, I am my achievements, and I am this body. And then you realize, but hang on a minute, my personality wasn't around before I was born, my body wasn't around, my mind as I know it wasn't around. But if there is a plan, then there must have been an intelligence prior to all of this. And maybe, just maybe, I participated in writing my diary. I love that. In fact, that came from a wonderful lady in PE, Katie. I don't think she's with us tonight, but what a wonderful lady. And she came up with that wisdom. It's in your diary. When something challenging happens in life or a problem, she says, well, it's in your diary.
You wrote it.
You wrote it in your diary. And you probably weren't drunk at the time. So I think you were, the Tibetan Book of the Dead says you were 8 times more intelligent when you wrote your diary. So there is a greater purpose in your life. And when you start to see that, you can let go of the need to judge your parents, the need to criticize life as it is, and the need to worry. There is a diary. You wrote it when you were way more intelligent than you are now. So therefore you don't have to worry about the situation. Live every day. You start to live your day and enjoy the day. There's a wonderful film. It's one that I really recommend. It's called About Time. About Time. And it's made by the same people who made 4 Weddings and a Funeral and Notting Hill. What was it called? Yeah. Notting Hill and all of those. A British comedy. It's really, really good. About Time. If you haven't seen it, is it on Netflix?
I think it might be, actually.
Yeah, you can watch that film About Time. And it really goes into that. When you start to live your day fully, instead of worrying about the next day and the outcome, you start to just enjoy what is coming through to you today. And that comes about with that key of realizing that there is a purpose to your life. It's in your diary. Yeah, that's a wonderful key. And the next key we've got here is
Acceptance.
the art of acceptance.
Which feeds into that, really,
Yeah.
because it helps you to
Yes.
accept when you know that, okay, well, this was going to happen. It was written.
Yeah.
So how can I accept it? And I think that's a biggie right now, is for us to accept something that a lot of us can't make sense of. And a lot of us are very confused about, because there's a lot of mixed messages out there. So to accept something that we actually don't know, we don't have any control over, it's a really big lesson in that.
Yeah.
So accepting is the way that you actually come back into that present as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So acceptance gives you freedom. If you think about the lack of freedom as the non-acceptance of this moment, the way it is, you don't accept yourself, you don't accept others, you don't accept your life, and that non-acceptance blocks you from that ease and that peace and that flow and that joy of life in this moment. So that's also, if you have a look at dealing with really challenging issues, one of the most challenging issues we can ever go through as a human being is when we lose someone we love.
Yeah.
And that is experienced by us then as grief. And Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who did a lot of work on healing from grief, and she gave us the 5 stages of healing from grief, and they're not sequential, they're part of the mix. You're dealing with this today and that tomorrow, and you come back to that, and they're all actually congruent. But the final healing from grief and from virtually everything else in your life comes from acceptance. Only through acceptance can you fully heal the pain of grief. So that's quite a big one.
It's a biggie.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk on the free will thing? I've already kind of mentioned it.
Okay, free will. You want me to talk on free will? So the very first public talk I ever did many, many years ago was on the subject of free will versus destiny. It's always fascinated me. It's absolutely fascinating. If my life is written in the stars when I'm born. And I remember being in Joburg a number of years ago on a market there, and there was someone opposite me, and they were doing numerology. And it was a 2-day event, and the evening after the first day, he said to me, just give me your birth date and your name. And the next day he came up with a whole computer printout based on the numbers of my name and my time and place of birth. And I read through that and I thought, well, where am I in all of this? Where's my free will in all of this? Because I read page after page of my life. He didn't know me, but it was all in my numbers, all in my numbers. But the one thing that wasn't in there is how I experienced the events and the situations and the circumstance of my life. That's not written. That's not written at all. So you have the destiny. There is a certain fabric which you are part of. The same as, for example, your fingernail fits into the end of your finger and it's perfectly placed to be part of your body. You as a human being is a cell in a greater body, and as such it has certain responsibilities, certain restrictions. But when you start to break out of that, how that fingernail experiences the life is completely up to it. So you don't necessarily get to choose a circumstance of your life while you're here, but you do get to choose how you go through the circumstance of life. That's a powerful key. It's a very, very powerful key when you realize that you are responsible, 100% responsible for how you're experiencing this particular situation. That you're experiencing the situation, you might not have too much control over. But how you go through today, that's a biggie. That is in your hands. And
Yeah, it is.
as you start to awaken, so you start to have more and more power over your mind. And you really become the creator of your experience today from an experiential point of view.
Yes, exactly. The next one is the power of love. So, if those of you who have joined us before and who know John and I know that that's what we teach from, we are love. Love is not an emotion. It's not a feeling. It's not a sensation. It's who we are at our core. That is the energy of all that is. So when we fall in love, we fall out of separation and we fall into unity, which is why we googly-eyed over candles, because we actually don't feel separate, and there's no judgment in that moment when we're gazing at each other over a candlelit dinner. So that falling in love is just falling away from separation. And that's what we're going to do tonight, because we both believe, and I believe that probably most of you do as well, that the world really needs this right now. Because love for me is light. It's the universal currency, and it's the only thing that fights the darkness without fighting it. Just is. If you turn on a light in a room, the darkness disappears. And it's the same with love. Love heals. It's the only thing that heals.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know, we have the so-called war at the moment between light and dark happening, I think, on planet Earth, but probably in the cosmos as well. And it's like a war. It seems to be a war. It's actually not a war. It's actually the light coming back, and the darkness is actually terrified of the light. But in fact, there's no war. When you walk into a dark room and you put on the light doesn't have to go around having a whole fight with the darkness and trying to get it out the room. The darkness cannot coexist with light. Fear cannot occupy the same space as love. And so I've written a newsletter which I'll be sending out next week, and it's on the 3 viruses that are going around at the moment. Obviously, we know about the coronavirus. That's the one we all, aware of. But there's a more insidious, more dangerous, more damaging virus than that, and that's the virus of fear. And we catch it. We catch it from the media. We catch it from each other. And that virus really disabilitates the body. It crushes the mind, and it gives us this incredibly dark experience. And that is the virus of fear. And the third virus, which isn't a virus at all, is a virus of love. You can also catch it. You can also give it. And I would suggest that at this time we need to focus on that third virus. And it's interesting because I was talking to someone I know in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe this afternoon, and she reminded me of the fact that the word hell comes from a word meaning to separate, to actually build up boundaries of separation. That's hell. Where love is the dissolving of boundaries. Love is a sense of oneness in your awareness. And if you think about at the moment with this separation and this lockdown, it's all about building those boundaries around us. I mean, you go shopping now, people don't even look at you anymore, they don't smile. Yeah. There's this, you can't catch a virus from a smile. Well, you can catch the virus of love from a smile. I don't know what's going on with people at the moment. They have just become so insular, so separate. That is the virus of fear. That is fear. Fear is hell. And there's a huge number of people right now living in hell. The power of love dissolves those boundaries. And we start to recognize that we are one.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a very powerful key. That's key number 6. Key number 7 is conscious relationships. That's a very powerful tool in the awakening process, because relationships are probably the richest part of the human experience. Relationships. If you think of relationships with parents, relationships with children, relationships with friends, relationships with lovers, relationships are such a key part of this human experience. And conscious relationships, spiritual relationships, so when I use the word conscious and spiritual, they're actually exactly the same. You become more aware relationships. That's a vital key in the awakening process, is to have relationships that aren't driven by unconscious patterns, not driven by reaction and response, but are driven through conscious awareness of oneness. That's love. So that's a vital key in the journey of awakening and finding freedom. Freedom to really enjoy a relationship instead of leaning on a relationship. Most intimate relationships are codependent relationships. That's not a healthy relationship. A real spiritual or conscious relationship is an inner dependent relationship. In other words, all your needs are met from within, and you enjoy the dance with the other, but you're not leaning on them. You're not saying, you must make me happy. You must give me love. You must give me security. You're not doing that. You find all of that within you, and then you're able to celebrate that with the other. That's a conscious or a spiritual relationship. That's a vital key in the awakening to the enjoyment of life as it is.
Yeah, and relationships are always mirrors, so it's a huge tool for self-discovery in terms of what's coming up for you with another person is usually a reflection of what's going on. You know, we might think it's the other person, but it really isn't. It's usually us. So that's that. Obviously, we're just going into these quite briefly, but we're giving you an idea of what we see as these keys. The other one is healing is feeling, which anybody that's worked with me will know that that's where I come from always. Because if you don't know what you're feeling, then you can't nurture and you can't give anything out. So it's just to actually be able to navigate those feelings with love and acceptance, which we've been through a few times on these calls. But it's very, very important. And I cannot tell you how many people I counsel who say, when I say, well, how do you feel? You know, how do you navigate your feelings? And they say, oh, I don't. What do you mean, navigate my feelings? I don't navigate my feelings. I just push them away. Yeah, and that's a biggie. You have to. It's part of us. And they're often not true necessarily. The thoughts about them aren't true. But the feelings that you feel in that moment are true. And they need to be felt. So the only way that you can heal is to actually feel those feelings. So that was number 8, eh?
Yeah, number 9 is dissolving the pain body, dealing with the pain body. We've all got this entity that lives around here that comes out, as Eckhart Tolle says, comes out for feeding occasionally. What does it feed on? Does it feed on love and joy? No. It feeds on drama. It loves creating drama and feeding off drama, more drama, and it comes out and eats all of that and creates chaos, and eventually when it's had enough it goes back to sleep for a while and you think, oh, it's gone. No, it isn't gone. It's just slumbering in the background. It'll come out when it's hungry again. So dealing with the pain body, dissolving the pain body, bringing the light of awareness into the pain body so that it doesn't run you and wreck your life anymore is a very powerful part of the journey of awakening, and to become free of the pain body. And that is a really big one, and that is number 9. Number 10 is abundance, and I'm running a few of those abundance workshops, what are they called? WhatsApp groups, the 21 days to abundance, and that's very deep. And when you start to realize what real abundance is, you gain the freedom, because abundance is really the freedom to choose in any moment what it is you really, really, really want. That's a true abundance, isn't it? There are people who have a lot of money and they're not free at all. They're bound by their possessions. We buy something and we think, oh, it's lovely to have something, but the possessions end up owning us, and that becomes a problem. True abundance is not having lots and lots of stuff. It's actually the ability to live your life the way you really want to, free of this need for more. So abundance is a big one.
And to see the abundance in just the smallest little things, I think for me is, with this lockdown, I'm actually looking for things which are beautiful, and that's abundance. So to look at a flower is hugely abundant. And freedom and forgiveness was 11, hey?
Yeah.
So that's a biggie, because as long as we're carrying around grudges towards ourselves and other people, we cannot be free. And I know I've experienced this firsthand, very, very potently with a family member. And I remember the moment that it happened, that I just thought, no, I can't do this anymore. And in that moment, I forgave that person and I forgave myself. And it was the biggest liberation I have ever experienced in my life, because I was no longer lugging this person around, expecting something of them. And so therefore I was free. And they were too. And it shifted everything to a degree that there was an ease after that. So yeah, forgiveness is a huge one.
It's actually the cornerstone to awakening, to give you the freedom.
Yeah.
Because you've been dragging something around for so long, and it's that blocks your joy and your freedom. Yeah. Why carry it with you? It's because you can't forgive yourself. If you loved yourself, if you knew who you were and accepted and loved yourself, you wouldn't carry this around with you. You know, you're actually punishing yourself by dragging this thing around with you. This non-forgiveness. So forgiveness is a cornerstone to the freedom in awakening. It really is. And the final one is really important in that it's the only prayer the divine ever hears, and that is thank you. Gratitude is key number 12. And it's through gratitude that we experience the true freedom and awakening. To live your life moment to moment to moment in a state of gratitude, that gives you the peace and the joy and the fulfillment that you have been searching for in the story of your life. It's not in the story of your life. It's not in the horizontal plane, as I spoke about before. It's in the vertical plane. To be grateful, truly, joyfully grateful for what is in this moment. I mean, we can complain about the collapse of the economy, the restriction being in our house. Or we can say, my goodness me, we have an abundance of quietness in our lives at the moment. Have you looked out at the sky and seen, I mean, in Cape Town where we are, I've noticed the sky. Yesterday morning I photographed it and I think I put it up on Facebook. So blue, so beautifully deep, deep blue. Quiet, beautiful. There's so much to be grateful for in just this moment now. So that's the final key in the freedom of awakening.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So all of these 12 are their keys which open the doors to the freedom of awakening. And what we have been busy with in the last little while is putting together an online course. It's a 13-week course where we go through each of these keys in great depth, a whole week just on one key. And we will be giving guided meditations, we will be giving tasks and tools, and also we will have a live link-up call just focusing on one key at a time.
Be a private call.
A private call, yeah, a private call.
Private group call.
And it'll be like a coaching session, and so if you participate in that, you can bring your issues related to a particular key to the table, to the discussion, and we will help guide you through that particular key so that you can open that door and discover the freedom that's on the other side of that door. We're going to be launching this, what day was it?
What day did we decide?
29th, I think.
Yeah.
28th, 29th.
Yeah.
We're going to put the details up on our website. In fact, Michelle has actually already put a beautiful page up on the website detailing this journey, the freedom into awakening. If you go to journeysofawakening.com, please take a look at that. And if you want to participate, there's a little button there that you can press and send us an email and we'll communicate with you on that.
Yeah, we are doing, to support everybody through this time, we are doing the launch at half the price, so it's really affordable. Thanks to, what did we say?
It's less than 100 Rand a week, so I'm sure you can all afford 100 Rand for a week of coaching and guidance.
Yeah, so if you really do want to actually stop the struggle and you find that this kind of teaching is useful to you, then I would say that there's no better time to do it than now, because I think that what I've said in the past with the astrology of the time and with what we're going through, I don't think this is going to be a quick fix. I think this, we might go out of lockdown, but I think the ramifications of this are going to be a little lasting. And I really have this knowing that if you can put this taproot in and build this inner strength, this inner awareness, this inner awakeness, you'll be able to navigate anything. So whatever we do, I think that's where our attention's got to be, not outside, because that we're not going to be able to control.
This process is going to be quite a long journey as we go through this transformation. We've spoken before about the caterpillar going in a cocoon. We're going to be in this cocoon for a little while. There's going to be a lot of chaos and a lot of much before the butterfly comes out the other side. But this freedom and awakening is the preparation for the butterfly.
That's it, I think.
There was one other thing I wanted to mention about Yeah, the first week, by the way, of this 13-part journey, we offer to you free of charge. So come along and spend a week with us and see whether it gels with you. No charge for that. And then there's 12 weeks thereafter. So it's a 13-week program. Some people have a problem with the number 13. 13 is the number of going from one level up to the next level. So there were 12 disciples. Jesus was 13. 13 is a lucky number. It's actually the spiritual number. It's a spiritual essence. So this journey is a spiritual essence. It's going from one level up to the next level. So journeysofawakening.com. Go and have a look at the beautiful page that Michelle has put together there. And on that website there's also the resources page, and there's the YouTube clips of our past sessions together, and other information as well.
And that'll continue free.
Yeah.
And then we'll also continue, we want to continue doing these Sunday calls for everybody, so these will carry on. Yeah.
Okay, so we'd like to end off this evening with a meditation to connect with the other light workers on this planet. There are many people right now who are in the process of awakening, who are aware that it's the light that trumps over darkness, but we have to be the change, as Gandhi said. So what we'd like to do now is just about a 5-minute meditation, 5-minute meditation, just to connect with the other people on planet Earth who are also opening their hearts right now and allowing and becoming vessels for this light to flow through us. So if you'd just like to shut your eyes, make yourselves comfortable. Shall we put off these lights here? Should we switch this one off here? There we go. Alright, can you still see us? Yes, we haven't disappeared. So just take a deep breath in and breathe out, and gently shut your eyes and just settle down into your bodies. Fully occupy your body. Become aware of your feet. Maybe they're on the floor. Become aware of your hands. See where they're resting. What do they feel like in this moment? Become aware of the stillness in this moment that listens. See if you can hear the beating of your heart in your eardrums. Listen very carefully and see if you can pick up that pulse. Every time your heart beats, it pushes a pressure wave through your eardrums. Just see if you can pick that up with your awareness. And now center your awareness into the body, into your heart. And in your heart there's a sacred chamber. A chamber of peace. Center your awareness into that stillness of that chamber. Connect with your heart. Bring your awareness fully into alignment with this most powerful organ we have in our body called the heart. And feel in this moment an opening of that heart. Feel a connection, if you like, between your heart and the heart of someone you dearly love. Maybe a child, maybe an adult, maybe a pet. But feel your heart connecting directly and becoming merged in a sea of oneness with the other that you so love. Feel the feeling of that unconditional acceptance of the other. Feel that warmth of shared experience, of commonality. Feel that warm embrace of love. Feel your heart open. Feel that love radiating out. To touch the people in your home, to touch the hearts of your neighbors. Feel that love radiating out into your community wherever you live, combining and connecting with the hearts of all those who share your community. Feel it as a joyful radiance of warmth, of beingness, of life itself. Feel this radiating out into your whole country, including everyone within its borders, in this bubble of vibrating light. You might even want to give it a color. You might see it as a pink. You might see it as a white light. See your whole country now encompassed in this beautiful bubble of love light. Feel this love and light from your heart being extended to the leaders of the country, embracing them in the same way that you would embrace the one that you love the most. Embrace the leaders with love, with forgiveness, with compassion and with kindness. And radiate this out into the world leaders. Radiate it out into those that would perpetuate darkness on earth. Embrace them. They are in themselves disconnected from love. They're like little children in pain and fear. Embrace them in your love, your compassion, your forgiveness. Bring them into the light, into this wonderful, beautiful light, this bubble that we see enveloping the whole of earth. And as we open our hearts wider and wider, so we invite the beings of love and light that surround the planet. We invite them to bring their light and their healing and their power into the planet. And this immense light we see dissipating all the darkness. We call on the angels and the archangels to bring in their immense power to dissipate the darkness of ignorance from this planet, to bring in the light of connection, that we may bathe all in the light of love. And having felt this and having asked, it is given in this moment. We are one. We are love. It is done. Giving thanks for this beautiful, wonderful healing, for Mother Earth and all who reside on her. Bring your awareness gently back into your own heart, into that sacred chamber of stillness within your own chest. And take a deep breath in. And release it. Take another deep breath into your belly and take that air right down to your toes. And then a long out breath, just releasing. And take a third, final deep breath in, right down to your belly, your toes, and then up into your chest, into your head. Fill your whole body up. And then a long release out, a long sigh. And before you open your eyes, just become aware of how you feel in this moment. Become aware of the vibration of energy that surrounds you, the power within you, the power of love. This is your true essence. You have the power. This is your divine essence. It is light. It is beautiful. You are that. You are magnificent. And gently, when you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thanks,
We're going to
John.
meet again on Wednesday.
Yes, and do a new moon intention setting chat and meditation. Please leave us a comment to say hi if you haven't already.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for joining us all.
Give us your hearts and your little
It's
wow
really
buttons and your comments. We look forward to reading your comments. Thank you for being with us tonight, and bless you and have a peaceful sleep. Thank you, and we'll see you on Wednesday, 7:30. Bless you.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.